Hello everyone, it is Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. This time I am continuing my mini-series, Road to Yu-Gi-Oh! 6. We are within 3 weeks from Jump Festa 2016, guys. I hope you guys are getting excited, because I am getting very, very excited. Jump Festa is being held December 16th and December 17th, in case you were unaware or you just forgot the exact dates. And at that convention, at that festival, is when they will most likely be announcing a new series. They're either going to be announcing a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, or they're going to make some other announcement, maybe a heartbreaking announcement that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is over. Either way, a massive, massive news drop will come at that conference. They've already reserved a stage, and so I decided to kind of hype it up a bit. I would throw around some ideas of what they could do for the 6th Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, hence Road to Yu-Gi-Oh! 6. The first part was about a custom show that I thought of, Yu-Gi-Oh! Generations. The second one was flirting with the idea of maybe this kid from the 3DS game being the main protagonist. If you want to check both of those out, links are in the description down below. And this part, the third part of a 4 to 5 part series, is going to be discussing, as you can tell by the titles, possible sequels and prequels of all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows, whether I think they'll do it, what show I would like to see a sequel or prequel of, and then just kind of give my thoughts on there. And obviously I want you guys to give your thoughts in the comments down below as I ramble on, or as you maybe want to just jump in whenever you want to jump in, and I'll talk to you guys down in the comments below. So, looking at Duel Monsters, a lot of people are saying, you know, maybe Duel Monsters is going to get a sequel. Maybe that will be the 6th show. I do not. Duel Monsters, let's just see how it ended. It ended with a Tem leaving and the whole gang kind of just going outside of his tomb, and that was it. That was the end of Duel Monsters. And yes, you could make a case that maybe they'll follow Yugi Moto's story now. But here's the thing, we have Dark Side of Dimensions. That's still coming out, you know, in the US. We've gotten very minimal leaks. I'm actually surprised. It came out in Japan, I believe, in March. I'm very surprised at how minimal the leaks have been. Very minimal. I've seen a couple of clips here and there, but that's been it. I would have thought by now the whole movie would have been released online. So bravo to the people overseas for really, really doing well to keep that movie under wraps. I mean, they did a really good job, and I'm pretty sure it did very well in the box office over there. So Dark Side of Dimensions, obviously about Yugi and Kaiba. Now, yes, it has to do with the manga, at least in the original version. I think the 4Kids version is making it after the show ends, after Duel Monsters ends, so I don't know what kind of twist they're going to put on it, but that'll be interesting to watch. Duel Monsters, this original series has gotten so much love, and rightfully so. It is the main Yu-Gi-Oh! It is the most popular Yu-Gi-Oh! There probably will never be another Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that will be more popular than Duel Monsters. That's just a fact. I don't think they're going to do a sequel to Duel Monsters. And not because of Dark Side of Dimensions, but because they wouldn't have a way to brand new cards. And what I mean by that is, how are you going to show off pendulums or a new summoning method when we know there's no new summoning method that happens because of what takes place in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, the years to follow Duel Monsters. Now, whether Zexal and Arc 5 are canon, that's another story. I think they are. I'll unveil that whole timeline mess and that whole timeline jumble when I do my timeline theory, which will be at the end of Arc 5, so probably late March, early April. We know for a fact GX and 5Ds are canon. There's no question to that. And there's no new summoning method in GX and 5Ds. So are they just going to go back to basic summoning methods? I don't think they would do that, because at the end of the day, this anime is kind of to advertise the card game. It is. That's what the anime is used for. So I really don't think they're going to do a Duel Monsters sequel. Now, moving on to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, they could do a sequel here. We know GX ends with all the characters kind of going their own way. We know Judai goes his own way. And I guess you could make it work there. 5Ds, all the characters go their own way, and we see them in a flash forward 4 or 5 years down the future. Aki becomes a very successful doctor, while Jack and Crow become very successful pro-duelists. We don't see Yusei's fate, which is very interesting. They kind of left that door open. So maybe, you know, there's something to be desired there. Zexal is the easiest one to say sequel, absolutely, because Zexal ends with an actual issue. Astral World is under attack. Now it's always weird how it's always weird to me how Zexal ended. How Astral looks kind of happy that his world is under attack. Maybe because he gets to see Yuma again. That's what I'd imagine. And Yuma and all his friends are going, and I mean all of his friends. I mean with the gang. I mean you can see the picture right here with this gang. I don't know what issue is going to come up that these guys aren't going to be able to solve. But I mean literally all the good duelists on the show are on their way to face this issue. But there is an issue, and so Zexal could have a sequel there because they did leave on a bit of a cliffhanger. Arc 5, it's tough to say because we just don't know how Arc 5 is going to end. It could end very dark, it could end not so dark, it could end kind of depressing where maybe the 4 boys and the 4 bracelet girls will never know each other or something along those lines. We just don't know how Arc 5 is going to end. Maybe I'll do a prediction ending video at some point on Arc 5, but we don't know how it's going to end. So looking at prequels, the Duel Monsters prequel would have to be without a Tem. It would have to be young Yugi. So I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this first and foremost. I hate prequels. And I know I have a very unwarranted hatred towards prequels, mainly because you know it's going to happen. So I know the counter argument to prequels is, well, you get to see their backstory, you get to understand their motives a little better. But I really don't like prequels because if I know what's, and this is for movies and video games, if I know what's going to happen in the future, I don't really care how they get to that point, and I know maybe I'm in the minority there. I don't like prequels. I'd be very upset if they did a prequel. I don't think they're going to do a prequel. Honestly, I don't think they're going to do a sequel either, but it's just kind of fun to flirt with the idea. I'll give you what I'd prefer to see as a sequel to any of these shows, and I want to hear your guys what sequel that you would like to see. But prequel for Duel Monsters would be tough. For GX, Judai would be very, very young. Yes, you could have a bit of Judai and Yubel interaction because that happened in his past, so maybe there's a bit of a storyline there. 5Ds probably has the most storyline-based prequel because you could show Aki during her hard childhood. You could show Jack and Yusei's duel when we know Jack does defeat Yusei. Maybe they had a really, really bitter rivalry. You could show the Enforcers. We know that was a thing with Kiryu and Crow and Jack and Yusei. So there's a lot of storylines that you could definitely do in a 5Ds prequel. A Zexal prequel, I'd love to see a Shark and Nash duel, and we know they did duel and they did have a bit of rivalry, or Shark and 4. Shark and Nash duel, Shark and 4 duel. Shark and Nash are the same freaking person. Sorry, it's 5:30 a.m. I'm literally recording this right after I put out my 133 review. I gotta drive home. I gotta drive back up to college in an hour, so I figured I'd get this audio done. But no, a Shark and Quattro duel. I'd love to see that. The duel in the tournament when 4, obviously sets him up to cheat. But Yuma would be very young. Yuma would be very young in a prequel. And Arc 5, same thing. So I don't think prequels would work. I think there's like a 1% chance they would do a prequel. Maybe a 10% chance or 15% chance they do a sequel. If they did a sequel, I would want to see either a GX sequel, a 5D sequel, or a Zexal sequel. I wouldn't be opposed to an Arc 5 sequel based on how it ended. Yes, I left out Duel Monsters, and the only reason I left out Duel Monsters is because the timeline, and I know they're kind of show a disregard for the timeline. To me, it would be very confusing. And we are getting a lot of Duel Monster stuff, guys. We're getting Dark Side of Dimensions. I know I might get some backlash for that, and I'm perfectly fine with taking that backlash for saying I don't really want to see a Duel Monster sequel, and I'd rather see a GX 5Ds or Zexal sequel. If I had to pick one, Zexal's kind of the obvious one because we know there's an issue. 5Ds, though, I'd like to see what happened to Yusei. But as for Aki, they probably wouldn't show anything from her because she just kind of goes through medical school. No issues there, most likely, or no dueling issues at least. The twins, we could see them, Rua and Ruka. Could see Jack and Crow, but I don't know. I think Zexal is the one that left on a cliffhanger, so Zexal's probably the most obvious that they would do. There's a lot of people who also want to see Yoshida back in the anime writing and write the 6th show, but he's currently writing the Arc 5 manga, and the Arc 5 manga is doing very well in Japan. I think it's actually outselling the first 2 volumes, outsold the 5Ds manga and the Zexal manga. You can't overwork the guy, and yes, Yoshida, besides female characters, don't mind him as a writer, but I'd rather see them kind of just use a fresh face for the 6th series. I'd rather see them bring in someone who they've never used before, to be completely honest, just to kind of revamp the whole show and just give a new guy a shot. That's what I'd like to see. Keep Yoshida on the manga. He's doing very well with the Arc 5 manga. Bring in a new writer for the 6th show. That's what I would like to see. The only reason I'm saying that is Yoshida, if he comes back, a Zexal sequel just becomes increased because obviously he wrote Zexal. He also wrote, I believe, Season 4 of GX and the last season of 5Ds, which are my favorite seasons of GX and, well, not my favorite of 5Ds. Dark Signers beats it out, but very good season of 5Ds. So it'll be interesting to see what route they do go with Yu-Gi-Oh! 6, but what do you guys think? Would you guys like to see a sequel? And if you do want to see a sequel, what anime would you want to see them do? Would you want to see them do a prequel? If that's the case, what prequel of what anime would you want to see them do? Or would you just want them to write a whole new story with new characters, fresh face, and give me some thoughts on your writers. Would you like to see Yoshida back for a 6th series? Would you like to see Ono take a shot at the 6th series? I don't see how the heck that happens, honestly, after what's gone on with Arc 5 and the backlash that it's gotten from the, Nico community, which, again, I know I criticized and said it doesn't matter. To some degree it matters. I don't think Ono is coming. I would be stunned if he came back for a 6th show. I would like to see a completely fresh new face, or, bring Takahashi back, but let me know what that's not going to happen. Let me know what you guys think about all the points I brought up. Less than 3 weeks, guys. There's probably going to be one more part of this road to Yu-Gi-Oh! 6, so I hope you guys are hyped. I will talk to you in the comments below. Have a great day.
Okay.